This is ClayFuzzy, a Geometry Dash YouTuber who has 63,000 subscribers, who has been in controversy for a long time, but it seems that people are beginning to forget Clay's manipulative behaviors, grooming and pedophilia allegations, and a long history of stalking and lies. This video is made purely to inform and is for educational purposes only. ClayFuzzy loves throwing around the fact that she's 16 at any pedophilia or grooming allegations thrown against her, even though she's admitted to lying about this on multiple occasions.
I keep thinking, I am getting so mistreated for being a minor, for, saying I'm a minor. 50, holy crap. But I don't feel like changing my public age, people are gonna lose trust if I tell them, yeah, I'm not really 16. I'm not gonna reveal my real age. I always keep it a secret. I always call it public age, You can... I'm gonna say one person in the chat is right. One person in the chat guessed it correctly, but I'm not gonna say it.
The reason I was lying about my age because I wanted to public age redacted, bro. Okay, I need to. I'm not gonna read the chat. I'm gonna boom. Wait, where can I? The reason I did that. This is very stupid, and I said this in a stream once. The reason I lied about my age was because I wanted to be the youngest person to become a GD moderator. And looking back at it, this was so stupid. And wait, so you're not a minor? No. And I got sick and tired from being mistreated because I was a minor.
When asked about these videos, Clay said that they were blackmailed into lying. Unfortunately, due to the nature of the person we are dealing with, we are going to have to tread to some very serious stuff. This next chapter will have mentions of self-harm, suicidal ideology, and extremely manipulative behavior. I will now be presenting a timeline of events transpiring from early 2020 to 2023. In 2020, our victim's statement is as follows.
Before D was involved, Clay would come and try to roleplay with me. We were friends at Met. I want to say in a friend server. I met him through another group of friends that's irrelevant to all this. We'd roleplay, and it was most chill stuff and dorky stuff. Like adventures, making stories. And then he kept slow trying to turn it and force it into kinky RP. He'd push and push and push until I went along with it. When I refused, he acted like I was being an awful friend, made threats, insults, faked being super upset. He'd go as far as making death threats about himself if I didn't do a stupid ERP with him, or respond to him bringing up his kinks. I eventually put my foot down when I had turned 17. Previously having to deal with all that junk when he was subsid 15, and I was 16, and he lost his mind at that. And then I had to go no contact, block him out, etc. A good year or so after that I met D, because Clay, in that year gap before meeting D, had constantly sent people to harass me for him, to try and get me to reconnect.
About 2 years later, after the victim said that they were uncomfortable with Clay's advances, Clay would go as far as to contact the victim on Discord under an alt account named SunWolfie. This is the DM exchange between the victim and ClayFuzzy's alt account. During this time, this chain of DMs would transpire, which if you are familiar with Clay's case, you'd know that this was a conversation between Clay and a 14-year-old referred to in this video as D. Clay also talked about meeting up with this 14-year-old, which is highly alarming, knowing now that the least she could be is 17. Clay would post a disturbing video on YouTube of them cutting themselves. The following footage will be blurred.
Since you guys like me so much, I just don't know how else to thank you. Other than showing you a video of what your words can do to people.
I think it's very clear that making a 7-minute video of self-harming and calling people's names out who did not wrong you and that you wronged yourself is completely delusional and terrifying. Switching off to a less serious but just as important topic, there's plenty of examples of Clay pulling a classic manipulation tactic over and over again. The following is taken from a document on Clay. You might notice a pattern here. Let me explain her procedure. You ask her about the situation, she does not answer any of your questions and spreads misinformation to put me and everyone involved into a bad light, and so that she can manipulate others to believe her. If you just take it as she told you and agree with her, she will be okay with you. If you should not believe her, she will either begin to label you as one of those people, or she will argue with you about it all, and at the end you will get blocked from her side because she knows that she fucked up. After all that has happened, she will start to spread misinformation about you. Let's try this formula with my argument. I ask her about the situation, I do not believe her because she's not giving me any proof, and then I get blocked because she knows she fucked up. I think this is a perfect segue into chapter 4, which is all about how controlling and threatening Clay is, how they blow up at the littlest of things, and how they act like a complete child when they don't get what they want. This will be a quick collage of images pertaining to the subject, which I will read parts of to give you an idea of how insanely mad Clay gets at the most nuanced things. This is a DM chain between an unnamed 13-year-old who allegedly dated ClayFuzzy back in late 2023. This 13-year-old was also extorted by ClayFuzzy, being sent videos of Clay cutting themselves and being told to not join certain servers due to D being in the same servers as them. And if you think I was done with the manipulation side of things, you have not seen the half of it. These first 3 screenshots is D talking to Clay about how she doesn't make the effort to change, apologize, and grow from hurting people such as Victim 1. Clay takes this as an attack and immediately retracts into this shell of "it's not my fault and I'm just misunderstood." These next 3 screenshots, Clay tells D that it will be a waste of D's time to try, and D questions why Clay even complains about how they are harmed even though Clay has caused this themselves. D feels guilt-tripped because Clay keeps taking this defensive "you don't get it" statement. Clay then decides to prod at why D feels this way. D says Clay is victim blaming themselves, which is clearly what is happening here. Clay is the only person at fault for their own problems, lying about their age multiple times, blaming everyone else for her own actions in the video where she cuts herself, and blowing things completely out of proportion. These screenshots depict Clay committing Class A emotional manipulation, stating that they are being used as 5 people's emotional punching bag, saying, "Why are you using me as an emotional punching bag right now? Stop, it hurts." D is having absolutely none of it, not falling for Clay's emotional manipulation, as they've gone through this before on multiple occasions before this DM chain. D then confronts Clay on how awfully they treated Victim 1. Again, an easy way to tell when Clay is pulling her manipulation tactics is when she acts completely oblivious and pretends you are absolutely crazy, saying things like, "D, are you okay? D, what the fuck happened to you?" She then does this weird "I really want to kill myself, not being manipulative by the way" charade, which is completely hilarious because why else would you bring it up in this situation if it weren't to drag attention to yourself. Then saying things like "you know I can't handle it," which is Clay admitting that they can't handle the consequences of their very, very terrible actions that they committed against Victim 1. Alright. Let's switch up the pacing now. Whilst researching for all this, I wanted to step back and kind of put into perspective what I was doing. I had this moment of, maybe I should ask ClayFuzzy herself. I mean, she did say I'm only listening to one side, and I suppose she was right. So I tried, first contacting Clay on Twitter under a recent reposting of their exposal document that they commented on. I got no response back. So I tried on Discord, or at least I would've on my main, but I was blocked. Coincidentally, I was also trying to catch ClayFuzzy in a sort of a sting I was running under an account that I said was 13, so I decided that since the sting was unsuccessful as Clay probably caught on to what was happening, I threw my last chance out there and contacted them on the sting account.
Listen, I really apologize, but when I tried to defend myself, you screamed at me and never really let me explain. I feel like I got disrespectfully cut off, and I don't see a reason why I should talk to you since you think you can hurt someone like this without any consequences. The person who made the tweet was never in a chat with me, so obviously I should give them a chance to actually listen to me in defending myself. And if that doesn't work and he still ends up attacking me, there's
nothing I can do, I guess. I just want to say that I really have more than enough shit to deal with in real life, and this is just too much for me. I'm not exaggerating. I want to be able to help out my family in every way possible and fund our future, since this is literally the only thing I want to achieve in life. They took care of me a ton, and I want to give back to them. I'm unable to work though, so entertaining people on YouTube is the only thing I can do unless you got another idea. The country doesn't help with this since we're foreigners. I don't want you to feel bad for me, since you quite literally can't do anything about it, but please try to ignore the people who talk negatively about me. Also, please don't screen record this, as I trust you not to leak this. Again, I don't want you to feel bad for me. Thank you.
I tried my absolute hardest to get through to Clay to get their side like they said, but it was constantly met with rejection or just being straight up ignored. Clay says that they have their own exposal or apology video coming out, but it's been 6 months since they first talked about that, and I doubt that it's in the works. Well, here we are at the conclusion of about 2 months of research and maybe a week or two of editing. I'd like to take some time to say that there's going to be a couple resources in the description. One is the full story between Victim 1 and ClayFuzzy, which will be in the description. Another link is a Google Doc detailing a case of Clay's manipulative acts, which will also be under there. And finally, the video on how Clay was outed as someone who's comfortable with zoophilic acts will be on my channel, as well as in the description. I can't thank everyone enough for cooperating with me on this project. You will remain unnamed, but you know who you are. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever it's about. Yeah.